Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Dav. I've been a software engineer for about 15 years and this channel is about Solidity, Web3, React and everything that revolves mainly around the Ethereum blockchain and decentralized application development. Today the purpose of the video is to show you how to use Web3 from your React application. We will see how to connect to a blockchain via MetaMask using Web3 and React. For this video, we will start from the demo app that we have built in the previous video called How to Create a Reusable React Card Component. If you haven't watched it, I'll put the link in the description. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. In the first part of the video, we will create the needed React component. We will need a new card component for the login screen that will contain our login button. So let's get back into our editor and let's start coding. So back in our code editor, let's duplicate the home component and add a button inside. This button will enable us to connect to MetaMask via Web3. Let's call the new discard component login and let's add a button inside. We'll give it a class name of button and a default type of button. Now let's add a bit of styling. So for the login card, let's just copy the same style as the home. Just rename the class name. And for the button style, I have created the style beforehand, so I will just copy and paste it here. That's it. Now let's check the resulting page. And that's it. Now we have a nice button to connect to our MetaMask account. But before we move on to the next subject, let's go back into our code editor and do a bit of refactoring. In our final application, we do not want to have both the login and home card component displayed at the same time. We want a home component to be displayed when we are connected, and we want a login component to be displayed when we need to log in. So let's create those two components. So back in the components folder, let's create a home folder and a login folder. And inside we will create our home component. It's CSS module file. Same for the login component. So let's add the boilerplate code. And the home component will simply return the home card component that we have here. Let's copy its style from index.css. Let's apply the style here. And that should be it for the home component. Now let's do the same thing for the login component. let's copy paste the login card from the app.js and let's return it here. Now let's copy the style from here. And same for the button. Now let's use those components inside the app.js file. Let's import it first. Oh, let's also take this import here. We need it in the home component and in the login component. I need to change the path too. Now let's use the login component and the home component inside the app.js file. So we need to import them first and then we can directly use them here. And that should be it, guys. Let's check out the resulting page. The resulting page looks fine and is still working after the refactoring, but now we have cleaner, easier to maintain code. Now what we want is to display one or the other of the home component or login component. For that, we'll make use of React useStateHook. Let's do it. So let's import the needed hook from React. And then let's create the needed state. We'll have isConnectedState. And by default, it will be false. So let's use that state here. So the login component will be displayed when we are not connected. And the home component will be displayed once we are connected to MetaMask. Let's also implement two methods for connecting and disconnecting. And we'll make use of our set is connected method here. And let's use it in our login component. Let's update the login component. So let's create a onlogging handler for a button. And in that, for now, we will just call the onLogin attribute passed via properties. Now let's check if the resulting page is still working and behaving the way we want it to. So very nice. Now we only see the login component. And if we click on the connect button, we see the home component. So everything is working fine for now. Now let's try to connect to MetaMask. First, we need to detect and fetch the library that will enable us to interact and send requests to MetaMask. This library is automatically injected by MetaMask into our browser and is commonly called a provider. So let's implement a method called detect provider in our login component. I have implemented this method beforehand, so I will just copy it here. So first we check if the library injected by MetaMask is window.ethereum. This is the library that is injected in all newer version of MetaMask. And then we will check window.web3. This is for compatibility reason, but all recent MetaMask installation will have only window.ethereum. And if nothing is detected, we just make an alert with a message. Then we return the provider. Now we can use it in our onlogging handler method. Like this. Now we can check if we have a provider. We can also check if the provider is actually window.ethereum, and if it's not the case, we will make display an error message. And now we will actually send a request to MetaMask using the provider, and MetaMask will respond by opening its login window. Actually, we should here apply the async await pattern. And then we can call our props.onLogin. That should be fine, guys. So let's check the resulting page. So let's refresh the page. We have a connect button. Let's click on the connect button and hop. We see the MetaMask window login window so we can connect to it, and we are connected now. See, I'm connected, and we have our home component displayed here. Let's do it again. Let's refresh, connect, and we are connected. That is it, guys. We can now connect to MetaMask using our connect button, but let's try to improve the user experience a tiny bit. Back in our editor, let's make use of the useState hook to create some state to know if we are trying to connect, so that we can display like a loading message to our user. So let's call it is connecting and set connecting. It will be false by default. And let's use it here. And here we can display a message based upon if we are connecting, if we are trying to connect or not. So let's pass also here our provider, because we'll need it later. Now let's see the resulting page. So let's log out. Let's refresh the page. Let's connect again and hope we see the loading label displayed in our button. And here we go, same as before, we are connected. Now we will install the Web3 JavaScript library, which is a wrapper around the Web3 library injected by MetaMask to send requests to MetaMask, and it also contains many helper methods. So let's do it. Now back in our editor, let's import the library and make use of it. So now we need the provider. That's why we passed it from the login component to the parent component, to the app, the JS component. Now let's fetch our MetaMask account with the help of the Web3 library. So here we need to apply again the async await pattern. And let's check here if we actually have account, if we are connected to MetaMask. And if we are connected and we have the account, we need to set the connected account, the current account. So for that, we'll again use the useState hook. So we will have connected account or current account state. We can set it to null by default. And we can set it here directly. And set connected should be here also. Now we can use our current account in the header. And we can pass it also in the home component, for example. Let's save it. Let's go to the home account. And here we can display directly props. Now let's check the resulting page. Now on the resulting page, we can see that here the account, the fake account we used before is not displayed anymore. So let's log out of MetaMask. Let's refresh, connect. We are connected and we see an account here, so everything looks fine. Yes, it's the same account, 66F8, 66F8. So congratulations guys, if you have followed until here, you can now connect to MetaMask and make requests to MetaMask using the Web3 library. In the next part of this series on React and Web3, we will see how to listen to account change event, to network change event, and to log out from MetaMask event so that we can update our application properly. If you've liked the video, please subscribe and press the thumbs up button. See you later.